你好，
China?
爱人，爱人。
Oh.
Anime has become a global phenomenon. It tends to dominate online discussion when it comes to the broader topic of animation. I mean, just last year, an anime won the Oscar for Best Animated Picture. Yeah, in some ways, you might say that anime is the undisputed king of animation. Oh, wait, what is that? You guys hear that? What's happening? Oh no, it's Donghua!
Who?
For anyone who doesn't know, Donghua is basically the Chinese equivalent of anime, and I mean, supposedly it's been gaining traction lately. But I mean, this is anime we're talking about here. You know, my goat. You don't just walk up to the undisputed king and say you're gonna take his crown. I mean, who are you? Donghua? I've barely ever heard of you before. Like, what's the most popular Donghua right now? I bet no one's ever heard of it. Let's see here. Nuja 2? Please. I mean, what even is this? Some kind of kids movie? What? It's just an ordinary Chinese. Oh my goodness! Yeah, so this movie is kind of massive, shockingly so. At the time of this video, not only is it the highest grossing animated film of all time, beating out even Disney films like Frozen, The Lion King, and Inside Out 2, but from what I'm seeing, it's also the first animated film in history to generate over $2 billion at the global box office. And it did all of this within 33 days of its release, which is just mind-boggling to me. I had only heard of this movie recently, so you can just imagine my absolute whiplash at seeing a movie that feels like it just kind of came out of nowhere, completely dominating the record books like this. And well, it's kind of fed into this greater trend that I've noticed. In recent years, China has become a big player in the world of global media and entertainment. More and more, we're seeing Chinese video games, films, and social media platforms blow up on a global scale. TikTok, for example, is so absurdly successful that other apps are changing their interface to be more like TikTok. Games like Genshin Impact and Black Myth Wukong are huge hits, the latter selling over 10 million copies within 3 days, making it one of the fastest selling games of all time. And of course, we have Nuja 2, which we already know is a hot banger for
China!
To truly understand this recent rise in Chinese animation, we need to first rewind to the ancient past of 2020. Funimation had struck a deal with the Chinese video hosting website Bilibili to stream the popular series Heaven Official's Blessing. This show would go on to be very popular on Funimation, leading to another season, as well as more Chinese series in general being added, helping to bring further global awareness to Chinese animation and building its popularity. Which brings us to the present, where it feels like we're beginning to pass a threshold of sorts. More and more Chinese animation like Link Click and Slay the Gods are drawing the attention of anime fans year by year. And this is still true in the year 2025 with a little show called To Be Hero X. I don't know anything about this show, but every day I feel like I see more and more people talking about it. And I can see why. I mean, just based on the animation alone, it looks incredible. It blends CGI and hand-drawn animation together in a way that is jaw-droppingly beautiful. It's just very eye-catching, and while I haven't watched it yet, I kind of want to because it's just really, really pretty. I don't know if that makes me shallow or not. The show is basically just waving keys in my face and I'm over here slobbering all over myself. While I was joking around at the beginning of this video, I have seen people express the sentiment that Donghua is beginning to give anime a run for its money. So inevitably, the question does arise, is it possible that in the future, Donghua could snatch away anime's crown? One of the most notable people I've heard express this sentiment is Masao Maruyama, the legendary anime producer and founder of MAPPA. During a 2023 interview with Agence France Presse, he stated in the future he could see Donghua overtaking anime's spot in the Asian animation market, citing Japan's ever-growing obsession with commercialization as a hindrance to both quality and originality. I feel like at this point we can make a game out of this. Let's play business greed Jenga. Which horrible industry issue is it going to be that brings everything crashing down? Maruyama isn't the only one who's expressed this opinion either. Terumi Nishi, the chief animation director for the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, also shared similar concerns in a tweet from 2024.
The younger Chinese generation seems more humble and passionate about anime. With anime fans rising to management positions, there's a real desire to improve. Japan will likely lose out. China has the ambition to get better that is lacking in Japan, as well as the resources.
And that is an excellent point. I don't know how many of you have noticed this, but China is really freaking big, dude. They have one of the biggest markets and the second strongest GDP out of every country in the world, right below the United States. And it really isn't a competition. I mean, look at that drop off. If you fell from that high, it'd probably kill you. Because of this, China is just inherently able to pump more and more money into its animation industry. Not only because it has a naturally large market, but because the government incentivizes the industry's growth. They've been pretty regularly rolling out several programs and incentives to help bolster the animation industry, both on a national and regional level. In their 14th five-year plan blueprint, they noted that the animation industry is incredibly important to them and would continue to incentivize its growth through things like special funding and tax incentives. The Xishan district in Beijing donates 50 million yuan to the industry every year, and the Bank of Beijing has also prioritized its services to make sure that animation continues to grow. Meanwhile, in Japan, there's a sentiment that the government isn't doing enough to bolster the industry. In a blog post for the Japanese website Real Economy, famed Gundam director Yoshiyuki Tomino stated,
Japanese politicians seem to view anime with the same sensibilities as 30 or 40 years ago. I feel a sense of crisis that if Japan continues to make anime from a business-oriented perspective, it will completely lose to those from Beijing.
And yeah, he has a point. We've covered this topic before, link here if you want to watch it, but basically, while the anime industry has been doing well, the actual people working within that industry are being ground up mercilessly, with many positions offering super meager wages for hellish work conditions. And only now does it feel like the Japanese government is actually taking critical steps to try and fix this. Think about how many talented animators Japan has discouraged from continuing in the industry due to this treatment. Wait, hold on a second. I'm getting a message here. Apparently, these animators are still working. They're just being stolen right out from under Japan's nose? All right, let's see who this dastardly culprit is. Oh my gosh, it's
China!
According to Daisuke Iijima, a prominent anime industry analyst, Chinese animation studios are offering as much as triple what Japanese studios pay. And in some cases, it can even be as high as 100 times that, according to industry veteran Junarai.
For China, whose market is expanding, there's a need for Japanese animators. Being able to pay 3 times the salary that Japan offers, it's not surprising that the Japanese prefer to work there, causing a massive brain drain.
It's no wonder why so many industry insiders and veterans believe that China is going to take over the market. They're practically luring all of their talent away and giving them reasons to not want to return. And the crazy thing is that it's not even just China. South Korea wants a slice of the action too. Just this year, South Korea announced its plans to invest $100 million into its own animation industry with the goal to actively compete with anime. Japan has enemies on all sides coming for its crown. So what exactly is going to happen? According to Masao Maruyama, the biggest thing holding China back is the regulations that its government places on animation.
The only reason China hasn't caught up with Japan yet is because of a bunch of restrictions imposed on free expression there. If more freedom is unleashed, Japan will be overtaken in no time.
Any animation within China has to first be approved by the National Radio and Television Administration. Anything that's seen as undesirable, whether it be violence, sexual themes, or even promoting certain ideologies that don't align with the government, can get your content censored or even outright banned. And look, I don't know if there's a future where these regulations are lifted. I'm not even gonna get into that, but what I do know is that anime isn't invincible. It's clear that these other mediums are growing in popularity. I don't think anime will ever outright die, I just think it's too big at this point. But in the future, I think it's possible that it might not dominate the Asian animation market, at least not to the degree that it has throughout history. And honestly, I think that's actually a good thing. I think it's healthy to have competition. If you have no one else to oppose you, then you grow complacent and comfortable. Your success begins to blind you, and you begin to get worse and worse until eventually you're a shell of your former self.
I think that this is a wake-up call that the anime industry needs.
And well, if it means that we get not only better animation and better employee treatment out of it, but also a bunch of cool new shows from other countries, then I'm all for it.